Thanks again for joining me as usual. Yeah. In my quest to share with you things that I think are fun, mostly zombie novels and movies and graphic novels, but not always. In fact, there's quite a few exceptions here today. The first thing I'd like to share with you is, this is interesting, and I think it's why I called this one "The Future is Here," or "The Future is Now," whatever you prefer. But
okay, first thing I want to know is, how could you borrow a book from the library at home on your little machine there that you read? How did you do that? Because, ladies and gentlemen, the future is here. The future is now. Yeah, if you can do that, the future is here. Yeah.
this is a library book I borrowed from the library for 1 week, exactly 7 days, without going to the library.
Okay, tell me how you did it. Oh, I'm sorry. All that technical stuff burrs the crap out of me.
I've been looking at this book for a while, and it looked really interesting, and sure enough, when I read it, oh, what we have here is I know recently I've read a literary zombie novel and a literary vampire novel, and now I've read, and it's not the first one, but it's the most recent, literary ghost story.
Anyway, okay, what was the name of the book that you got from the library but didn't go, but downloaded it to your magical little machine?
The Dead Path by Stephen Irwin is it is such a beautiful little book. I wish I hadn't read it so I could read it again. What he's done, he's an English author. It is literary without being difficult to read. It flows quickly. He has written a Brothers Grimm tale for adults. The Brothers Grimm's tales were graphic enough. This is a pretty gross, about a monster of sorts that victimizes little children. It's got a fascinating collection of really different characters. It's detailed and gruesome, but not torture porn. Okay, there's a difference. It's also literary but readable. It's not stuffy. And the ending will chill your bones. The last few sentences of this book. I love this book. I can't say enough about it. I can't recommend it enough. Definitely check it out. Like I said, I borrowed it for 7 days from the library, and I read it in actually 4, I think. I wasn't sure I could. I'm not a very fast reader. I wasn't sure I could hit a 339-page book in 7 days, but I did. I didn't occupy all my time with it, but I'm so glad I did. The second book I want to promote is a book called Ghost Radio by Leopoldo Gaut.
Another ghost story? Ghost Radio. And what kind of people are in it?
Mexican.
Mexicans? I love Mexicans. They're so totally cool. No, I really do, okay? I don't hate everybody. Just you, mostly.
Or if he isn't, the story is, this is one of the cool things, it's a ghost story also. It is from a Mexican perspective. You don't see that a lot. Like Rath James White is an African-American horror writer. This guy, I think he only wrote 1 book. He produces televisions and films, actually. I've said this before recently about other books, but this is an incredible Twilight Zone episode. In fact, I really thought I had the ending. I thought I knew what was going on, and I was very mistaken. But I highly recommend this book. The interesting thing about it is the paperback, which I was lucky to get, is $7.99, but to download it on Amazon or Barnes & Noble, it's $9.99. Now it's usually the opposite. It's usually cheaper if you download it. Highly recommend this book. This book is so amazingly strange. It's about a guy who runs a radio station, or runs a radio program at night called Ghost Radio, and people call up and share their stories with him. And there were 2 of these little short stories in here that callers call in that really gave me chills, that really kind of bothered me. He's a good writer. I wish he wrote other things. Jack Ketchum and Lucky McKee have made a movie called The Woman.
Oh, you really like this guy named Jack Ketchum, don't you? Yeah. It's like off-season, off-spring, and The Woman. I can't wait to see the movie.
It is the 3rd in Jack Ketchum's series. It started with Off-Season, continued with Off-Spring, and now we have The Woman. It was a movie first, and then from the screenplay they wrote this book. That's what I understand so far.
Maybe one day they'll make it into a movie, okay? What? They already made it? They made it to a movie first? What the hell's going on here? This is a weird world we live in, but the future is here. The future is now. Oh, very cool.
If you've read Off-Season and Off-Spring, you pretty much know what to expect. It's a little different. It's a smaller story in the sense that this family has decided to bring this woman, feral woman they found in the woods, into their home to civilize her. Well, you can probably imagine what happens. For one thing, in order to civilize someone, you have to be civilized in return. And this family is really twisted. It was very cheap. It was $6.99 maybe to download. I think it's $13, $14 large paperback from Dorchester. But inexpensive and really, really worth it. About 286 pages. Really, actually, yeah, something like that. Really good, really worth it.
Eat, Slay, Love, Living with the Dead. I love that story. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I like zombies, although I'm sure there are no zombie babies in this book. No, because it's not totally cool like me.
All right. The 3rd in the Living with the Dead series by Jessie Petersen is called Eat, Slay, Love. Her books are very fast reading. One of the things she successfully does, it's probably difficult to do, is each of the books, Married with Zombies was 1, Flip This Zombie was 2, Eat, Slay, Love is 3. One of the things she does, and I don't know how long she can keep it up, is they're all different, which is good. They're similar in the sense that there are lots of zombies, and it's gruesome, but the story is different, which I like. I prefer that actually because, you know, I get bored at the same thing all the time. I recommend this. Check this out. It's a good one. I did not download this. It is downloadable. She also has a short story that takes place in the Living with the Dead universe that is only available on like Kindle and Barnes & Noble. So I'm going to have to get that pretty soon. I've got 2 movies that I want to recommend. One was, well, they were both surprises, but for different reasons.
Oh, you saw some cool movies? Okay, tell me about them.
I told you recently how I love the book by the author of Let the Right One In, or Let Me In. The author of Handling the Undead, which is a very different take on a zombie book. More so than Let the Right One In or Let Me In was on vampires. Really different take on zombies. Well, I was looking on Netflix and happened to come across a movie that perfectly describes the book. It's called They Came Back. It's a French film. It's subtitled. Maybe on DVD and Blu-ray you could actually find a dubbed version, but for those of you who love the original languages, They Came Back, I highly recommend. And here's the funny thing, even though it was made a few years ago, it is the book.
They came back. Sounds like handling the undead. By that guy who, did the little vampire girly book, let the right one in, or let me in, or something. Or it is the same kind of book. Zombies, huh? I hope all you can talk to me about is zombies, because those are totally cute.
There are too many similarities in characters and plot lines for it not to have been based on handling the undead. It does divert. About halfway through the film, it diverts and becomes a really different film. The book is, of course, much more complicated, which books usually are. But it's on Netflix streaming. Check it out. It's subtitled in English. It is French. It's called They Came Back, a really different take on zombie films.
Oh no, you have to read it. If I wanted to read, I'd go to school. Stupid.
All right. Shot my beer. Anyway, the next one is a Korean film from the director of Tale of Two Sisters and The Good, the Bad, and the Weird. This new one by him has been getting a lot of buzz from fans. It's called I Saw the Devil. It's subtitled in English and it's Korean.
I saw the devil. Well, some people say that when they see me.
It's also from Netflix streaming. It is about a guy who chases down a serial killer. He's a special agent for the police, maybe, or the FBI, or whatever it is in Korea. And the serial killer murders his girlfriend, and he decides to go after the serial killer. It's pretty gruesome. It's not quite torture porn, but not much less either, but it's really, really interesting. I highly recommend this film. I like this director. But I want to thank you for joining me. You can probably guess what some of my future recommendations are going to be. I know you're clever. And,
well, I better go, because, well, you're just boring me. And I don't think you're very cute. So, anyway, I'm gonna go, and everyone, you can stop watching now, because I'm leaving. Okay, goodbye, everyone. Kisses from the dead lips of the beautiful zombie baby puppet, the sweet babu, the most beautiful baby in Zombieland. Yeah, bye, bye, yay, yay.
I want to say thanks a lot for coming along, and I appreciate your patronage. Thank you. Talk to you later.